Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer event. I hold this every week. I'm trying to hold it every week. This is everyone's opportunity to answer any kind of questions you might have for Utah. I'm here. I love this stuff. I love living in Utah, whether it's real estate questions, general questions about Utah. I'm here and I'm ready. And I do have some questions that I collect throughout the week. My chair seems to be moving. A little bit of a different setup tonight than what I had. Trying to redo my little area. And so I moved it out here for now. So, questions that I had throughout the week. I hope everybody has had a good week. Anybody watched the debate last night? Love to hear your comments about the debate. I thought it was interesting. And speaking about that, next week I'm going to do this particular question and answer session on Thursday night. There is a vice presidential debate next Wednesday night. So I was going to move it to Thursday night and see how that goes. Didn't want to compete with the national people, so I don't have millions of people tuning in anyways, but so one of the questions I got this week was, do many of the homes in Utah have swimming pools? And the general answer would be no. You do run across a few. I've got a neighbor a couple doors down that actually has a pool. It's pretty rare to find a home with a pool. And I don't know if some of that is to do with a lot of it's probably to do with the fact that, during the winter months, you can't use it at all. So you're limited when you can use it. And I'm not an expert on pools, but I don't know what some of the effects of the winter months are possibly with all the lines you've got going to the pool and stuff like that. Do they have to be winterized? And those kind of items. I'm not 100% certain, but in general, it is hard to find a home in Utah with a swimming pool. Now, in the southern part of the state, in the St. George area, it's a lot more common. They do not get the winters that we get in the northern part of the state, but in northern Utah, swim pools, a little less. Okay, another one. I was talking to somebody that says, looking at buying a home, which area is best for long-term value? That's a great question. Very great question. Right now, everything in northern Utah, in the 4 major counties, and I can even extend that a little bit, but pretty much from Ogden down to Provo is an area that is having tremendous growth and tremendous job growth, and that usually goes along with home value appreciation, stuff like that. Now, Cache County up by Logan area is also booming, and so is Box Elder County, just north of Weaver County, is another area that is seeing extreme growth. But in general, if you can pick an area with a good school district, I can't say it enough. In Utah, there are a lot of people with families, and school is very important. Where their kids go to school, whatnot, and you'll have an easier time selling a home in a good school district, even in a down market. Good school districts. Just that would be my biggest area, would be something that's in a good school district. A lot of people have kids. So, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, I would still look for a home in a school district for resale value. It's important. A lot of people really look at school districts. Okay. So investment question. Don't mind investment questions. I have a good bit of experience in investment properties. I have investment properties myself. So buying an investment home, tips on property management. Now, this is probably a little controversial. People have different opinions, but I think if you have one property or maybe 2 properties, you could do it yourself if you want to. It's a little easier to manage when you start accumulating 3, 4, 5, or maybe a 4-plex or an apartment building. Definitely would want some professional management. But a couple tips I'd have on an investment home would be, if you're going to manage it yourself, it depends on what kind of person you are. If you don't have a problem calling someone on the phone saying, hey, the rent's late, can you pay me? Can we do a payment plan, et cetera, et cetera. If you're not that kind of an individual, I would say turn it over to a property management company. It will take that right off of your list of things to do and some of your stress level. Now, if you're the kind of person that doesn't mind making that phone call or stopping by, then you can manage yourself. And I actually have some of my properties are with a property management company, and some I do myself. And I don't mind doing it myself. I actually really like the property management side of it. I like to have a good relationship with the tenants, and I find it's easier to collect rent because I personally will go over and knock on the door and say, I didn't get paid rent. What can we do about it? And it almost forces someone to say, well, I'm getting paid on Friday. I'll give you $400 then, and then maybe $400 the following Friday. And then I show up on the Friday and say, the $400 and the following Friday. So I find that particular relationship works really good. And the second biggest thing I really love is I like doing that because I want to be at or near the property at all times. I want to know about any kind of maintenance issues, any kind of maybe weeds in the yard or something like that, because I don't mind bringing fertilizer over. I don't mind touching up paint, fixing anything that might have. It's my investment, and I want to take care of it. I did get a question from Dylan. I ranked Utah third best state for me to live in. I would definitely be curious as what two states on your list are higher than Utah. I'm not disagreeing. That I would definitely be curious to know what two states you feel is ranked higher than Utah. So investment properties, property management. I do have some other tips if you ever want to reach out to me. I can help you with. The other one along the same line from the same person. Okay, so I got an answer on the other two states, North Dakota and New Hampshire. Well, I've never been to New Hampshire, so I cannot comment on that one for sure. What I know about New Hampshire is a very beautiful area. North Dakota, I know a little bit about North Dakota. It is very beautiful in the summertime. The thing that comes to my mind in North Dakota is the winters there are brutal sometimes. So, yeah, they rank right up there, probably with Montana for not just the amount of snowfall, but the wind chill factor and the temperature. So that would be my only one thing about North Dakota. But North Dakota is a state right now that is booming, doing a lot of oil fracking in that particular state. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months with North Dakota and some of them other areas. There is a political party that would like to quit doing the oil fracking. Whether or not that gets passed or not, I have no answers on that. But North Dakota is very big on the oil fracking. It's probably one of the biggest states, I think, United States. There are people actually that live in Utah, and I actually know people that live in Utah that work in North Dakota doing the oil fracking because the jobs pay so well. And I want to say from here, it's about a 2-day drive out there. They get out there, they live out there, and they work like a 7-day on, 7-day off or something schedule, and then they'll commute back, be home for a couple of days, and they got to go back on the road. So a lot of people here are taking jobs up there, whether you're just driving a dump truck or working doing the oil fracking. A lot of Utah labor is going up there. So we had some oil fracking going on in parts of Utah, and most of it's been shut down. I did hear North Dakota has a little bit of a slowdown. They're pulling a lot of workers out of Wyoming too, and being hit a little bit, some of the Wyoming workers. So, and I think part of that whole deal is the lower oil prices is not as profitable for them to do the oil fracking. So back on the investment would be multifamily or single family residence. Well, most people tell you multifamily is better. You do have on the multifamily, like if you get a fourplex, you only have one roof, but you have 4 units. So if you had 4 houses, you have 4 roofs. That's about the only one thing would be like the roof and the exterior. You typically don't replace many exteriors though, but sometimes you got to paint like trim and stuff like that. But you still have 4 water heaters, and you got 4 heaters and 4 AC units, et cetera, et cetera. So typically multifamily, but I will say something. I'm going to give single family homes a plug because I've got both. And I find in Utah, and other states might be a little more different, that single family homes rent for a longer time period typically than a multifamily. And I've had instances where sometimes in like my fourplex, I'll get people that are younger and they're more apt to move. They might have a friend that says, hey, just come in, move in with me. We can split the rent, and they'll leave my place and go there. Or, and being more mobile, they also will take jobs quicker. Maybe they're in Utah County right now and they get a job in Cache County up there in Logan, and they will just move out and head straight up to their new job. Where in a single family home, you're looking at a family most of the time. And for someone to move, they've got a lot to consider. They got kids in school or maybe daycare. So they don't make the moves quite as often. So I do find that your single family residence tenants seem to stay longer than on a multifamily. But I do have some people live in a multifamily, like some single parents, and they stay a long time. And a lot of times they'll have kids, and so they're in school, so that keeps them around the area. Sometimes their kids got friends and acquaintances, and they just don't really want to move somewhere else and lose all their friends that they have right there in their school. Okay. So we were back on the North Dakota, New Hampshire. So Utah would be first if it was cheaper. True. It's, it's unique. It's a balancing act. When you have the lowest unemployment in the country, which was just announced, Utah has the lowest unemployment in the country. And the particular jobs in Utah, we've got major companies coming, whether it's high tech, Northrop Grumman, the military base, a lot of higher paying jobs. When you attract people like that to your state, people are making more money. It also helps drive some of the home prices up. So sometimes it's a catch-22. I mean, we've got places in Utah, more remote areas, where it's a lot cheaper to live. But in most of those cities, as far as the better paying jobs in those cities, it's mostly government work, maybe school teacher, and that's about it. If they have a hospital there, maybe at the hospital, but there's not companies like Google, Adobe, and other tech companies, and Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems and everything else that like supports the base or the tech industry down in Utah County. So it does change. So it's hard to have both at the same time, I guess, is what I would say. Great question, though, Dylan. North Dakota, New Hampshire. That is quite a distance. I'd love to go to New Hampshire sometime. And I've been up into the New York State and Connecticut, but that's about as far as I've been on the East Coast. So as we move along to some of the things that are going on in Utah right now, events in Utah, as I just mentioned a little bit earlier, next Wednesday is the vice presidential debate. It's being held here in Utah at University of Utah. Kingsbury Hall is where we're hosting it. And it'll be very interesting. I don't believe there will be any spectators allowed in, especially with our current COVID situation. Our numbers are climbing. We're averaging, I don't know what the average is, but when I see the news, it's 900,000 cases a day, new cases per day. It's a little bit disheartening for me. I seen the numbers go down, and I thought we were on a trend of going way down, but they're going up. So what's with you guys in green jello? Well, and I don't know where that originally came from, but I did read a statistic one time that there is more green Jello consumed or bought in Utah than anywhere else. So, not too sure on the green Jello, but yeah, sometimes you'll. I don't see it around my household. I don't buy any Jello, but sometimes we'll go to wedding receptions and items like that, and yeah, there's Jello there. So, but I don't know the whole history behind it, but very popular. So the other thing that's very popular in this state is fry sauce. So I don't know if you're familiar with fry sauce. There's a couple different combinations, but the more familiar one is mayonnaise and ketchup like mixed together. You put it on your burgers, you put your fries in it. And I like it. Sometimes I'll do ketchup with my fries. Sometimes I'll do fry sauce. It can go either way. There is some restaurants that'll put a little variation of like some ranch dressing in it. Actually, I prefer that recipe just a little bit more. But fry sauce becomes so popular now, you can actually go into your local grocery store and buy it in a bottle right off the shelf. So, but yeah, fry sauce very popular. So is green Jello here. So, we were talking about the vice presidential debate and the debate that went on last night. And I was thinking, how could I have made last night's debate better? And my solution was they need to do it by Zoom call. You have one here. And then when one person gets to answer the question, the other person is cut off. And then the other person talks and is cut off. And I think that would stop some of the circus that went on, and everybody's doing Zoom calls with the COVID thing. We've all learned how to use Zoom a little bit. So I think that's how we would slow it down. So Dylan said, Biden is a puppet. Well, yeah, that's a point that is made. Utah in general is a Republican state. They voted Republican for as long as I can remember. We are a Republican state. So in Utah, you probably won't find a lot of Biden supporters. There are Biden supporters. I see bumper stickers and stuff like that. So I won't say there's none. You'll see more Trump stuff going on around. And then you do Biden. But I thought it was a very interesting pick from the Democrats, chosen Joe Biden, but I don't set those rules. So, okay. So other events that are going on besides our vice presidential debate, which I actually think is going to be very good. I think both Vice President Pence and Kamala Harris, I think, are going to have a very, very professional debate, 100%. And I'm really looking forward to that. Two great individuals. I actually respect both individuals. So a couple other things going on. There's not a lot going on in Utah. We're under this COVID thing. So groups of more than so many people, concerts, everything's been canceled. So, but up here in Snow Basin, Utah, I was just up there this weekend. They are having on October 3rd some classes on painting the scenery around Snow Basin. So if you're an artist and you would like to go, it's held by the Paint Mixer is the company that's putting it on. So very interesting. What state would be Utah's girlfriend, Nevada or Arizona? Well, 100% would have to be Nevada. It's Arizona. Well, technically, to get to Las Vegas, you do go through Arizona to get to Las Vegas. So we do touch Arizona a little bit. But in general, we're right next to Nevada on the west there. So there's roads that go out towards Reno, Nevada and Ely, Nevada and places like that is definitely, I would answer that one as Nevada. But very great states, Nevada and Arizona. I was just in Nevada there during the last holiday. I popped down. It's this COVID thing. I just wanted to kind of get out of town. Actually, we were going to a wedding down there, which I was surprised. I didn't think I was going. I thought for sure that Vegas was going to cancel it. So I really didn't make many plans. And they kept saying it's still on. So we were just down there in Vegas. Had a great time. So other things that are going on, Adam Carolla will be in town. He will be at Wise Guys Comedy Club October 2nd and 3rd. And if you are looking at going to Wise Guys, I would just call them to make sure. Things are being canceled pretty quickly. There is Pumpkin Days up at Wheeler Farms. If you've got some kiddos, then great place to go. I've been there a couple years myself. The farmers markets around are still going in different cities. Some are being canceled, but some are active. And I give a little update on college football. It's one of my biggest things, college football. I love college football. The University of Utah is going to be back playing November the 7th. They haven't announced a schedule yet, but they are back. There will be no fans. Pac-12 has said no fans. Utah State up in Logan is starting October the 24th. They haven't released a schedule yet. And as far as I know right now, there will be fans. It will be limited. So BYU is playing. They have no fans at their stadium. They were going to have fans, and they just said no last weekend. So, and Weber State, local school, plays in the Big Sky Conference. They are announcing that they're going to probably start in February, the football season. A couple more questions. Moving to Roy, Utah, mid-March. Any websites you recommend for apartment hunting? Yes, I did a video on that. It's whatisksl.com. Look at that video, and the thumbnail for it says it's bigger than Craigslist. So in general, rentals in Utah are not listed on the MLS system. So real estate agents do not handle rentals as per se. There's not like a master list and find you an apartment or a house. There are agents that do property management, but the only homes or apartments they would have are the ones that they personally manage. So in general, it's kind of a free-for-all, but that particular video introduced you to ksl.com, and every landlord that I know, they all advertise on that website. That is the go-to website in Utah, not just for apartments, for anything that you need. It's very big in Utah. It is free to advertise on there. There is some paid advertisement, like if you want to move your ad, I think, to the top of the list or something like that. But that is the website. If you're looking to buy a car, you want concert tickets, you want to sell something, anything you've got, refrigerator, it is the go-to place. It's bigger than Facebook, Craigslist, all of it in Utah. So great place to go. What's each season like in Utah? Well, I love each season. And so winter months, we get snow here and it gets cold. So let me tell you, pluses, minuses. So the cons, if you're not a person that likes the snow, we do get snowfall, and it does get colder temperatures. Not as bad as places like Wyoming, Montana, Wisconsin. Those winters are brutal. Here, if you live down in the valley in the lower elevations along the Wasatch Front and not up in the mountain, typically most snowfalls are 1 to 3 inches. Go out there, shovel it, snow blow it. By midday, when the sun comes out, it's all melted. You get home from work and your driveway's all clear. There are days when sometimes it'll snow in the morning, snow in the afternoon, and it'll pile up. But large snowfalls, like a foot or something, very, very rare, very rare. Maybe accumulation of a foot over 2 or 3 days, but yeah, it'd be a rare winter. Okay, so winter months. So spring, absolutely amazing. 75, 85 degree temperatures in the spring. Fantastic. If you're an outdoor person, hiking, mountain biking, golfing, it's great. Perfect weather, low to no humidity. You can just go any time of day. I love to go walk the dog, any kind of local park, or mostly dog-friendly parks. Great time. Summer times, I don't mind the summer times. We do get temperatures of 100 degrees. Then again, it's 100 degrees with low or no humidity. So I don't have a problem outside. As long as I have water, I golf through the hottest part of summer. I hike, mountain bike, UTV ride in the hottest part of summer. Doesn't stop me at all. As long as I have water, I'm totally fine. And then now as we get into the fall season, great. I think today was about 78 degrees. Yesterday was like mid 80s. Last weekend, mid 80s. Absolutely fantastic. In the morning, maybe just a little bit of a chill. You might put like a little sweater on, but by 9 or 10 o'clock, t-shirt weather, t-shirt and shorts. That's what I was in today, and I absolutely love it. So I'm a big golfer, and I love the outdoors, and so great time. All right. What season like? Thank you. I will check out the video right now. Great. Looking at Stansbury Park. Any insights? Great area. Very, very nice area. No negativities about Stansbury Park. I think you'll be totally happy with Stansbury Park. Yes. Also, what kind of vehicle would you suggest people looking to move to Utah? Okay. So, yeah, I kind of joke about this a little bit. I vacation in California a lot, and I see, Mercedes and BMWs out there and Teslas. Well, the equivalent in Utah is the pickup truck and the SUV. They cost just as much as a BMW and a Mercedes, but so versatile. In the winter months, you have something four-wheel drive. And I don't want to exclude cars like Subaru, because Subarus are great. I actually own a Subaru myself. So like the Subarus, SUVs, trucks would be my go-to vehicles. That way, whether you get snow on the ground, you can still go anywhere. You want to go to the high country, you want to go skiing or whatever, you got four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, off you go. The other thing to consider too is like pickup trucks and SUVs. If you want to own a dirt bike, UTV, ATV, pull a trailer behind, you'll need something like an SUV or a pickup truck, or mountain bike. Mountain bike in the back of a pickup truck is a little easier. Like an SUV, you can get hitches that come out the back, put your bike on hitches. Great vehicles if you want to do all the outdoor activities and be able to travel and go in the snow and summer months. That's what I recommend. SUV, truck. I'm a truck guy myself also. So that's where I would definitely go and enjoy. So UTV, if you don't own a UTV, be prepared. I've got a UTV, but I've always been a dirt bike guy. But the UTVs and the off-roading places that we have in Utah, whether it's sand down in Moab area and rocks or mountains, it is addictive, very addictive. My brother just called, and they want to head out this weekend and go riding. So, all right. How hard is it to build on your own land outside of town? Well, just about anywhere you build in Utah is not difficult. You will have to get approvals from the local city, and most cities have regulations of what they will require. And so, I would say most cities are very, very friendly when you're trying to do that kind of stuff. They will help you. The building department and the inspectors will help you enormously. So, but there sometimes will be requirements, and there are codes, and there's national codes and local codes, building codes that they will require certain setbacks. So you would have to see what the requirements are for each, and it varies city and county. So it depends on where you're at. When you get into some of the bigger cities like Salt Lake City, Layton, Ogden, you might find them a little bit more strict, especially if you want to put like a manufactured home on a lot or like a trailer on a lot. Some of those cities will have more strict. Some of our more rural areas in Utah, those rules, those kinds of development can go on a little easier. Is South Salt Lake as bad as its crime rate says? Probably watched one of my last videos. Well, I would probably say no. In general, Utah ranks very low in total crime. but you do have crime, and there is cities, and the list is published as to the crime rates. And South Salt Lake is one of the cities that definitely is on that particular list. So yeah. So I think yeah. And it's, so South Salt Lake, there are areas, so in general encompasses a large area, but there are pockets of areas, and there are outskirts of it that probably have lower statistics than some other areas. And you got to remember too, some of the businesses that are located in South Salt Lake, which contributes to a lot probably of the property crimes. Some of the property crimes that go on because it's so heavily, there's a big commercial development down there. So that when you break it down, I bet you would find some of the cases to be in some of those areas. So love watching your videos. My wife and I recently moved to Utah on the southern end of the valley in Draper and renting a new development. We're from New York City, and it's such a more relaxing change of pace. And I get a lot of reaches from New York City. I'm really, really shocked. I've talked to quite a few people. Matter of fact, I just talked to a guy, and he wants to come out here, but right now New York City he was telling me they have a restriction. If he goes back, he's got a quarantine for like 14 days. I'm not too sure if that's still in effect right now. I don't keep up with some of that, but New York City seems to be, having some people leaving. So I don't know if the exodus is quite as much as California, but we'll see. I'd love to know, John, though, what brought you New York to Utah? What was it? Political reasons? You want to get out of a Democratic state, go to a Republican state, better job opportunities, maybe found the home pricing. I'd be curious as to your take on your move. So I ride moto. Can I get my bike plated? Yes, sure can. Your videos are great. We came from Israel, and you made the relocation much easier. Wow, thank you very, very much. You are the first person that I have talked to or emailed from Israel. So welcome to the United States. If it's your first time to the United States, I'd love to shoot me an email, and I'd love to have your opinion on the United States, maybe not just Utah, but the United States in general compared to Israel. On last week's, I talked about a lady who contacted me from France. I was totally loved that conversation. So I would love to have an email from you on your opinion, United States. What do we do different here than you do in your home country? And maybe also what you feel that you do maybe better in your country than what we do better in our country. I love to learn things like that. I mean, I've traveled the world to many places, and there are places around the world. I think sometimes people do things better than we do in the United States. So yeah, we're not perfect as a country. So great. Israel. Your opinion on Roy, Utah. Well, I know Roy very well. I don't think you have any problems in Roy. I lived right next door in the 90s to Roy in Clinton, Utah. So I know Roy very, very well. Love the channel. Thank you. Well, I love your support. Best outdoor city within 1 mile of Hill Air Force Base to raise a family. Wow. If you're going to leave me with just one city to choose, I would take Layton. So, but there's a lot of great cities. Layton, Clinton, Roy, South Ogden, West Haven. A lot of great cities. But if you had to choose one, I would go with the Roy. And in general there, when you're talking about raising a family also, another thing is that whole Davis County area, all them cities come in Davis County except for Roy and West Haven. But they are in the Davis County School District, which nearly on every report ranks very high. It's one of the best school districts we have in the state. And to me, that's very important. One other thing just came to mind, though. You may consider, and it's been a while. Like I said, I lived in Clinton in the 90s, so it's been a few years. But Clinton Recreational Department for kids was one of the best in the states. Their park facilities out there, totally amazing. I have a video on Clinton, Utah, and I show the park down there. Their sports programs and other activities for kids were amazing. So I hope that the current mayor that they have down there has kept up with that. It was always known as a great place to raise a family and lots to do for the kids. Great area. I may move to Utah from Louisiana because of the quality of life. Wow. Great. What's taking you out of Louisiana? Is it work related, or, I would really be curious. Louisiana is a state I have not visited. I do not know a lot about, but I would love to know why you would like to leave Louisiana and go to Utah or North Dakota or New Hampshire. But that definitely would, I love learning things like that. I get a lot of people from California. So, and I pretty much know the California thing very, very well on why some people want to leave California. And some of the other states is definitely, I'm intrigued about why they're leaving. So lots going on with some of these areas that people are moving to, whether it's Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming. A lot of things are going on. It's pretty cool. So in the news too, I found this fascinating. Utah is very big, very, very big on tourism. How much money do you think is generated from tourism to Utah, whether it's the national parks, the ski resorts? Hundreds of millions of dollars would be your guess, maybe? That would be my guess. It is $10 billion. I was shocked. $10 billion is generated in the, and the reason that they brought the article up was $10 billion. But, with COVID, it's been hit and miss. The national parks did fantastic. A lot of out-of-state visitors came to the national parks here during COVID. Wasn't a lot of places else to go on vacation with the flights being shut down. A lot of people came to Utah and went to the national parks. We're wait and see on the skiing industry here, how it's going to go. All right, Dylan, the crime, poverty, education, healthcare, and it's one of the worst states to raise a family, but got good gun laws in Louisiana. Well, I would say the gun laws in Utah are probably right up there with them. I don't know Louisiana's, but there is a lot of people that come to Utah for the gun laws. So our gun laws probably compare very well. Crime, poverty, education, healthcare. Healthcare is something that's very important to me living here as I get older. We rank very high for healthcare quality, and I can actually relate to that. I spent some time at University of Utah, and if it wasn't for University of Utah, I would say I would not be here today. For sure, I would not be about 11 years ago. But healthcare, and it's very big on my list as I get older. The healthcare system here is fantastic. And so, yeah, healthcare is great. Great. Louisiana. That is home to college football, isn't it? Down that area. My wife fell in love with the mountains when we visited Salt Lake City last year. Folks are very nice. We're tired of the rat race, looking for quality of life. It's one of those taking a leap of faith moves. Wow. Great. The mountains are beautiful. When I go on vacation sometimes to some places, I do miss the mountains when I come back. So it is beautiful. Very, very beautiful. It's like, living next to the ocean in California. Another place, it's just amazing. I love it every time I'm out there next to the ocean too. So great. Leap of faith and moves. I don't think you'll be disappointed, John. I think that Well, one thing will be the weather. I actually think probably an improvement. You come from a high humidity area, so I think the dry heat will definitely be, and the dry cold also. You'll find that 40-degree temperature in Utah and a 40-degree temperature in New York is way different, way different. I was at New York City one time for New Year's Eve, and I couldn't believe how the cold just comes through your body. You had to have every inch of your body covered. So different type of cold. So I think the weather will definitely suit you, hopefully. Most beautiful state in the West after Alaska. Well, thank you. Thank you. Alaska's beautiful. I love Alaska too. It's a place I've been to. Very fortunate. My brother stationed in the military. I got to go up there, and amazing. I want to take an Alaska cruise, though. That is definitely on my list. It's on my wife's list too, of things to do. Alaska is very, very beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Utah does. I would add to your list, though, one place, Montana. Montana is very beautiful also. So I would love to live in Montana. I don't think I could handle the winters up there. My relatives are from Idaho, so we go up there quite a bit, and we're right next to Montana, and the winters are brutal. So as a city boy, I learned a lot. I can remember a couple times it would start snowing, and my wife goes, we got to go home back to Utah. I go, why? Just got a little bit of snow. She goes, oh, it all drifts. Next you know, you got like 3 foot. We left like 2 hours later, and she was right. It had all drifted, and I couldn't even see the road anymore. Different with the wind and the snow combined. So thank you, Dylan, for the questions. Great, great. So I'm not too sure what career field you're in, Dylan, as far as work goes. But if you are working when you get out here, hopefully Utah has something to offer you in your particular career field. So a little bit of sad news that we had with the increase in Utah we've had down in places like Zion National Park. Some of the parks had a lot of visitors this summer, is graffiti. They've been fighting. Some of the historic areas in the parks have had people go and actually spray paint and vandalize property. It's become a very big issue here in Utah, especially Zion National Park. That's what the whole article was about. It's kind of sad to see. I've been to many of these parks, and I haven't been there with the graffiti, but it's a shame. So I don't know what the state's turning into. Okay, that's about what I've got for tonight. If you have any more questions, by all means, I will be glad to answer them. I really enjoyed this. Next week, I'm going to do it on Thursday night at 8. Due to the presidential vice president debate held in Salt Lake City, I won't be attending, but I feel that a lot of people in the United States will be consumed to the TV set instead of YouTube. But I'm going to do 8 o'clock next Thursday. Wow, graffiti, nothing sacred. No, it was a shame. And we actually had an incident at where there was a rock formation at one time, and some guys went and actually forced a rock off of a place that had been there for generations. And the graffiti, yes, is terrible. And what I've been told about the graffiti is they've tried to clean some of it, but you can still see markings. It's almost impossible to get it all cleaned. That's terrible. Terrible. I would hate to see, it turned into a park where we've got to have law enforcement there to stop people doing graffiti. I don't know. That would be something else. But anyways, thank you for the questions. I'll stay for a couple more minutes in case any other questions pop up. I'd be glad to answer any of them. Continue making informational videos. Thank you. I'm working on one this week. So this week will be it's some mountain cities: Eden, Liberty, and Huntsville. It's just above Ogden, up in the mountain area. Great area. I've been filming this week, so I've got some shots on it all. I just got to finish putting it together and get it uploaded probably for Saturday, I would imagine, looking at my schedule. but unique area, very beautiful. It's an area I would love to live in. Great area, mountain living. So there's got pros and cons up there. So, but fantastic. Kind of a little bit of a secret place. It's very similar to Park City's elevation, but you don't have Park City's Main Street and celebrity status and the multi-million-dollar homes that are going in Park City. And this area, to me, is just as beautiful. So I still can't believe Idaho is bigger than Utah from looking at a map. Oh, I thought we were about the same size. I actually thought Utah was a little bit bigger. Where's your office located? Well, technically, I'm right here at my office. It's at home. We do have an office, but I'm never there. There's no point in me going to an office. All the work I do is out of my car. So when I'm not working out of my car and I'm not doing my rental properties, or I'm doing YouTube videos, or I'm on the phone, I do all that at home. All my videos are done at home. And so I don't go into an office. I just from home, which I absolutely love, because during the winter months, and you get the snowfall and what I call the crazy people on the roads that are all fighting it and sliding off the road, I'm at home scraping my driveway off, and I'll head out in the afternoon when the roads are dry. So I have a great schedule, because I work most evenings, nearly every evening and weekend. So I try not to work the mornings. So yes, I don't go into the office. And I haven't been in the office in such a long time. I don't even know what the office even looks like with COVID going on. So be interesting. So yeah, I work from home. Great. Thank you. Utah got a lot of psychology jobs. I know they border New Mexico. They got a lot of patients to treat. Wow. Yeah, psychology jobs, not one of my areas I would know a lot about. I would assume, I'm taking a wild guess at this, but I would imagine all our major hospitals probably have positions, and that'd be my guess. And we have quite a few between the IHC network and the University of Utah, and there's Ogden Regional, places like that. I would imagine a lot are done. So, but I think, yeah, psychology. There's probably people to treat just everywhere. We just had an incident today in Ogden, Utah. So it was a business. It was a repair shop. And the guy broke into the shop, and police responded. A female officer went inside, confronted the man. He came after her with an object. She ran outside to call for backup, and he came after again, and she shot him. And the police are saying that he wasn't there like robbing the store. He either drugs in his system or some kind of mental health issue was going on, because when he was inside the business, he was taking items and laying them on tables instead of like grabbing your arms and running out the door. So that was a mental health issue there. So now officer involved shooting. So yeah, it's happening around the country. Great question. Thank you, everybody. Hope everyone will take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'm trying to, and I will see everyone next week. Thank you very much. I'm going to rent for a year since I started a new job in Roy, then was hoping to wait. Question. Yeah, that's a good thing. A lot of people do that. They rent for a year or rent for 6 months, and then maybe they'll buy something. It's a great thing. Either way, you can't win or lose. I've seen the downside to that. Many people, they come here and they rent, and time goes by, and next 5 years has gone by, and do some round. So say you're paying $1,500 a month in rent, just do round numbers. That's $18,000 a year. Over 5 years, I think is like $90,000. So then people go to buy a house and they're like, Mike, over the last 5 years, I spent $90,000 and you get any of it back. So yeah, it's upside, downside. But the nice thing probably with renting for some time period gives you more time to learn the area and become a little more familiar with the area to make a decision on where you would maybe want to buy something. So hang on. I heard lots of jobs come in this area, so housing markets will not drop. You're absolutely right, because you're looking at the Roy area. So that's hooked right next to Hill Air Force Base. And I just did a video a few weeks ago about that. Northrop Grumman brought 600 jobs here. Right now, they're hiring everything from engineers on down. And that's just the start. They say they're going to expand even more. Now, Northrop Grumman has always been in the state. This is like a new building or something that they're doing. And I can see it from the freeway, a new building they've got just inside the gate. So, jobs in Northrop Grumman is they bought out Thykol, used to be called Thykol, then it went to, I think, ATK Thykol. Thykol was known for doing the booster rockets for the space shuttle. When that program got cut off from the government, they went through some tough times. They then went building fuselages for some kind of, I think, commercial airliner. So that's a company Northrop Grumman also has taken over. So Northrop Grumman is expanding throughout the state. Lots of jobs come from there, but they're not the only ones. There's lots of, whether it's government contractors, BAE systems, and there's stacks I don't even know about. But anyways, I was hoping for the housing market to drop in prices. I don't think in that area you're looking at it's going to drop. It would have to really be, I mean, even COVID didn't cause it to drop, and it's just a shortage of housing. These jobs are coming, and most of the jobs that are coming here or that are here with the wages that they're paying, people feel they can afford to purchase a house, and they're just buying. They're buying them up. They are building 3 buildings. Yes, it looks like they are. I hear other companies are coming to this area too. Yeah, yes, and I'm definitely not an expert on it. Just what I hear on the streets. Some of this is some of the other companies that are coming. A lot of it's to support the new F-35 strike fighter airplane that we have. It requires a lot, and I believe if they're not doing it now, they will be doing it in the future. They'll be doing the maintenance requirements on them like they've done over the years. They refurbished the F-16s, the A-10s, the C-130s, some other airplanes, and some of them airplanes actually redo them and sell them to foreign countries. They've got a program doing that. So, but yeah, the F-35 too has brought a lot of companies in here that do some of the refurbishing work for that particular aircraft. So that's bringing companies and bringing jobs, and the base is always growing. I'm going to explore New Haven, probably mean West Haven. Seems like a nice family-oriented town. Thanks for staying on. Yeah, West Haven, great area. I know it very, very well. It's country life a little bit. You got housing developments, and you'll drive, and there will be empty land. And West Haven, Hooper is some of the fastest growing areas in that area. So, because there's farmers' lands available, so they're buying them up, building homes. So yes, great areas too. And what's nice when you're looking at Rory, West Haven, if you're working on the base, you're a 5-10 minute drive, and you're 5-10 minutes into Ogden, and which has everything. You're 5-10 minutes into Layton, that has everything. So also mass transit comes right through Roy area. So if you want to take mass transit to Salt Lake City, or you want to drive your car to Salt Lake City, it's great. So, and some people like that. Say you want a couple brewskis or something. You want to go to a University of Utah football game or a Jazz game. Well, the front runner train will take you right down there. You can go down there, eat, have a couple brewskis, go to the game, take it home. Don't have to worry about driving your car. So great areas along there if that's something you're interested to. Glad Sam's Club has gas stations around here. Yes. So you're looking at the Roy area. So there's a Sam's Club in Ogden or Riverdale area. There's also a Sam's Club in Layton. And we also have in Ogden, you have a Costco. So Some people like Sam's, some like Costco. I actually have membership to both. I find some items there and some items, but yeah, both of them, the Costco and Sam's clubs located here in the Ogden area, both have gas. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll try the train. Train is a great thing. And I know many people. That's how they get to work. They love the 100% safe. I've been on the train many times. They have security on the train. They have UTA employees. They have their own police department. It's got Wi-Fi on there. And I know so many people that will work in the Salt Lake Valley and take the train down there. It's the way to go. They sit back with their iPad or their laptop and on the internet watching my videos all day. So, and not driving their car. I think it's a great way, and you don't have to worry about accidents, slowing traffic. Pretty rare. The only thing we have seen every once in a while, it is a popular place. Sometimes people will commit suicide. They will park on the line and get hit by the train. It's happened a couple times. I was actually on one of the trains coming out of Salt Lake, and that happened. And UTA was fantastic. They didn't tell us what was going on. We thought it was a mechanical breakdown. We were down the Layton area. We stopped, and they actually got buses, and they bussed us around the incident that had been cordoned off by the police. And then we got back on a train and continued. It wasn't until I had gotten home I seen the news of what had happened. So, okay, I'll try the train. Double stack train from what I saw. Yes, it is. So there's an upstairs and a downstairs. Yeah, upper deck, lower deck. So it travels at about 70 miles per hour. And when it does stop at a city, it's there only like 3 or 4 minutes, and then they shut the doors and boom, off it goes. Great way. Me and the wife many times have taken it down. We'll get dinner in Salt Lake, go to a Jazz game. So yeah, I've done that. So I've done University of Utah football that way too. Yeah, we've taken it down, and then we've taken the train. It's hard if you're going to University of Utah football game. It's hard to park up there. So the best way is to take the light rail in Salt Lake, either park downtown and take it up. That's usually what I find is the very best. So I don't try to park up that. So I usually will take the front runner in and take the light rail train up to the university. When you exit the game is the only one thing. It is crowded. It's like standing room only leaving the game. So, but good fun. Okay. Hope you enjoy Roy, West Haven. Yes, great area. When you're in Roy too, I don't know if you've seen the one video, but there is Burger Bar, place to go to right there in Roy. You're right next to where you'll be working. Actually, people you work with will tell you about Burger Bar. It was on Diners, Dives, and Driving. Great burger joint. So give that a try there. Burger Bar there in Roy. Right, you'll probably drive by it on the way to get into the base. Almost depends which direction you're going. But anyways, hope everyone takes care. Stay safe. See you next week.